My name is Michael Carter, aka SHIELD Agent Red Right 88. Last year, SHIELD Director Phil Coulson assigned me to disseminate recently discovered files detailing the early exploits of my great-aunt, SHIELD Agent Peggy Carter. I thought my mission was over. However, a new series of documents covering Agent Carter's exploits in California was recently discovered. This is Season 2 of the Whimsical Adventures of Great Aunt Peggy. It appears that last week's episode was a little bit of a miracle in the recording, as I failed to notice that my digital recording device was in actuality a highlighter pen. Agents Carter and Sousa went to Dr. Wilkes' residence in order to inspect it. Unfortunately, the press had gotten wind of what happened at Isodyne and were waiting for them. At Wilkes' home, Peggy found a false floor which contained several documents, including Soviet passports and the same type of gun that was used in the abduction of Jane Scott's corpse. Peggy went to Howard Stark for information on a pendant she found at Wilkes' residence that matched a pendant that Dottie Underwood had. She also showed Stark the film of the Zero Matter experiment. Stark mentioned that the pendant belonged to the Arena Club, an exclusive wealthy gentlemen's club that tended to shy away from having female members, or minority members for that matter. Carter and Sousa returned to the office where Agent Thompson was waiting for them. Thompson said the SSR couldn't be associating with a known communist, in other words, Wilkes, and despite Peggy's objections, Thompson signed Peggy's name to a report that implicated Wilkes. Determined to prove Wilkes' innocence, Agent Carter at Howard Stark applied to the Arena Club in order to provide a distraction so that she could plant several listening devices in order to get the club members to implicate themselves. As Peggy bugged the premises, she witnessed several high-ranking club members adjourn a meeting. Agent Carter tried to bug the meeting room, but the device was giving off a feedback. She destroyed it just as someone else was beginning to enter the room. Peggy used the remains of the small bug to start a fire which provided enough of a distraction for her to exit the room. She returned to SSR headquarters with the Arena Club's plans to rig the election in Calvin Chadwick's favor. Thompson was having none of it, though, and sent Agent Carter back to New York. As Peggy prepared to leave, objects on her desk mysteriously began levitating. Fearing that she could have been contaminated by the Zero Matter, Carter and Sousa went to Howard Stark. Stark's tests proved that Peggy wasn't contaminated. Something was actually manipulating her gravitational field. Stark developed a formula that would allow her gravitational field to become visible. As he sprayed the formula, Dr. Wilkes suddenly appeared, though he couldn't be touched. Wilkes started to explain what happened with Whitney Frost at Isodyne, but faded out before he could elaborate any further. Agent Carter went to talk with Whitney Frost. She denied being at Isodyne, though Peggy didn't exactly believe her explanation. Howard Stark managed to get Wilkes visible again, though still not tangible. That night, Peggy tried to blow off some steam by punching a bag in the backyard when she got jumped by a masked individual. She was able to fight the man off. The next day, Stark announced that he needed the help of his old mentor, Dr. Alan Brody, who at the time was in Peru. Wilkes also told Peggy they thought it was best to leave after hearing about her attack. She managed to talk him out of it. Agent Carter returned to SSR headquarters where Sousa showed her something. Whitney Frost was actually the brains behind Isodyne and the weapons that they had designed. Whitney Frost was just her stage name. Overall, this episode had a lot going for it. I'll admit, I'm personally a sucker for the whole secret society that puppet masters the whole world type of story. And of course, Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark is a real joy. And I do like where they're going with Madame Mask. And yes, I am aware that as a character from the comics. Also, the other comic touches, the Kid Colt reference, and of course the foreshadowing as Jarvis being the AI for Stark Industries were nice touches as well. That being said, I do have some major gripes going on here. It seems once again we're doing the whole, oh, nobody understands Agent Carter, everyone underestimates her because she's a woman type storyline that got tiresome last season. And I understand if some of her antagonists are treating her this way, but it's also her co-workers. And at the end of last season, it looked like her co-workers were actually starting to accept her for who she was. In particular, Agent Thompson, or Chief Thompson. That was a character who started out being really butt-headed and stupid and sexist in the early goings, but did grow over time, especially with the Howling Commandos episode. But it seems now he's kind of reverting back to that, when at the end of last season, he pretty much accepted Peggy for who she was. And now he's just being that arrogant jerk again. And yeah, I know they're hinting that maybe another face turn is going on, but still, like I said, it got repetitive last season, and I'm kind of wanting it to go a different direction here. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, I get that in the 1940s, women in the workplace were not taken as seriously. At the same time, you know what? Any documents personal documents explaining Peggy Carter would have stated that she fought alongside Captain America. Not to mention, at the end of last season, she had grown to be accepted by her male co-workers. It doesn't make any sense that she's still running into this. But like I said, I did enjoy this episode. I am going to grade this a B. But if we keep going down with this same trends being repetitive, of Agent Carter being looked down upon by the male world, those grades are going to start dropping. Sorry. Like I said, I did enjoy the episode, and I do look forward to the next week's. See you then.